see. The country we want to see, it starts with you and me. Something about it, talk and do. We need to just stop talking about it. We must talk and do. Why don't you do something about it? Talk and do. We need to just stop talking about it.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Three minutes past 8 o'clock, the 30th day in the month of May, year 2022. The month of May is winding down, and we're steadily approaching the month of June, the 6th month of the year. And if what INEC has put out before now is anything to go by, I'm sure you're aware that the online portal for CVR will close today. So that means that if you've not booked a day for your physical capture, today is probably your last day. If it doesn't happen, then it probably means that you won't be able to vote in 2023. And if happenings across the country does not make you willing to vote in 2023, I wonder what will. Good morning, welcome to Panorama. My name is Boyeka Olani.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to Panorama for a brand new week. Let me also include that NCDC has confirmed 66 suspected monkeypox cases and 1 death in Nigeria. Monkeypox has been in the news in countries such as the United States, in Spain, basically Europe, but this is the first time that the NCDC is confirming it in Africa, as though we don't have enough to, well, in Nigeria, as though we don't have enough to contend with. But nevertheless, let's try and stay safe. I'm yet to read up further information on how it can be contracted, but still try and, reduce contact with people and all of that. And also, happy birthday to the governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Prince Dr. Abiodun. His birthday is today, so happy birthday, sir.
Was it today or yesterday?
Well, I think I'm not sure.
But nonetheless,
yes, I think it was 29th of May.
Yes,
So
yesterday. So happy birthday in arrears to the governor. If you're joining this program for the first time, you're welcome on board. We appreciate you. Where have you been? But then, better late than never. We're glad that you are here with us this beautiful Monday morning. It was quite a stretch getting to work this morning, especially along the Obantoko axis. I don't know what happened today. It just seemed like there were more cars on the road. And I'm sure that many people have also gone through the hassles of getting to work this morning. If you're also still on the road, just keep your eyes on the road as you listen to us this morning. Make us your companion. We'll make your morning much better. This program is divided into 2 segments. The first segment is tagged Issue of the Day. And the second segment is From the Pages, which is where we take a look at the newspapers. There are several channels through which you can be a part of the program at any point in time. If any part of this conversation strikes you, we are streaming live on Facebook at the moment. You can drop us a comment. You can drop a comment on Twitter and the WhatsApp platform as well. But without further ado, let's get straight to our issue of the day now. Allegations floating around of aspirants collecting lavish gifts given to delegates after losing at primaries, of aspirants claiming to have been rigged, of compromised delegate list have to a large extent colored the party primaries by the 2 major political parties in Nigeria, the APC and the PDP.
In the case of the People's Democratic Party, the opposition party has concluded the process of electing its flag bearers across all levels, with Atiku Abubakar emerging as its presidential candidate. The All Progressives Congress, on the other hand, is finished with most of its primaries, barring one. APC has taken advantage of the extension of deadline for the conduct of primaries by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to shift its presidential primaries to a later date in June.
The commission has extended the date to 9th of June, citing requests by political parties and sparking allegations of a compromised independence from the electoral umpire. Our issue of the day this morning will center on the myriad intrigues in the last few days amidst the conduct of party primaries.
And to have that conversation with us this morning is none other than veteran broadcaster as well as public affairs analyst, Eddy Aina. Good morning to you, Eddy.
Good morning, Lola. Good morning, Boygan. Hello, Ade.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's talk about the developments as the parties have concluded their primaries. Well, as the PDP has concluded its primaries, and the APC has had most of it. But before we do that, what do you make of INEC's extension of deadline? Many had commended INEC in the past when pressure had been mounted on it to extend primaries, and it had refused to budge. But very close to the last minute, here INEC is citing the same reason, saying that parties are imploring it to deadline. What do you think? Do you think that undermines its independence, as allegations are in some quarters, or do you think that INEC is merely being merciful?
Well, if you look at the activities of INEC, especially the appointment of the chairman, no, not this chairman alone, since INEC started, once you allow an individual to appoint somebody, definitely that person must, kowtow, to that person. And that has been the argument. In fact, the election of 2007, Yaradua said the election that brought me in, was fraud. And that led to the appointment of the one-time Nigerian, the judiciary, the head of NJC at that point, not even the Chief Justice of the Federation, led to his appointment. And he made one recommendation, in fact, two actually, to save the democracy. He said, one, don't allow an individual to appoint the chairman. Advertise it. Let Nigerians apply. Because it will afford Nigerians the opportunity to assess the trajectory of that person, the suitability or otherwise of that person. That is what is done elsewhere. But in the moment you allow that person, you are one individual. And we have seen so many cases like that. The appointment of political appointees. Where, in the final analysis, GEJ did not take two recommendations. One, the one that says you should not allow an individual to appoint. That is the president. The second one, this tribunal on electoral violence, it didn't. And that is what we are experiencing now. And don't forget, on many occasions, those in power have attempted to appoint people who are known to be card-carrying members. In fact, the present chairman of INEC was a member of the confab of 2014. And so, he must kowtow to whoever is there. If INEC tells you it's independent, I'm not sure INEC is totally independent. Some people have allowed, some measure of independence, like Jega. In fact, Jega even advised that he should not give any extension. Because if you give extension, it's going to favor a particular political party. If he had done it in the past, maybe PDP too will have changed his convention in Abuja. But you now allow, so APC now has opportunities, and APC was
so you think this shows sort of tacit support
it is,
for the APC?
Well, on many occasions. In fact, elections have been cancelled twice in this country, obviously, because, in fact, there was a time it was to take place in February 18, that was one of 2015. And one of the operatives of government, I think Dasuki, went to Chatham House to say, okay, the election, we have to postpone it because of banditry and what have you. But that was not the reason. Some people said it was because the date fell on Buhari, the date on February 18, fair Buhari and all that, all those intangible things. But really, on many occasions, elections have been changed or been cancelled or postponed because of INEC, kowtowing. Unless you allow people, to pick that person, let that person apply and let Nigerians, judge that person. So I believe that, and PDP said that much because they were confounded, or dumbfounded, that extension was given.
But INEC did say that this does not in any way
affect
affect the timetable.
Yeah, I agree. But Lola said, why have they been saying no? He said no. Festus Okoye said no.
And the initial reason given was actually that it would affect
the election timetable in whatever form.
So what's changed?
Nothing has changed, really. Ordinarily, if they had allowed it when parties were clamoring, yes, maybe it would have been okay. And to give reasons why they are doing it. But ordinarily, I do not see any reason, because all the parties, except those one on the fringe, Labour Party and a few of them, SDP, maybe out of the 18, have not gotten their presidential candidate. But ordinarily, I think they shouldn't have. Stick to your time. Stick to the timetable, because you have reasons, constitutional reasons, electoral law reasons, for you to keep to your target. And Jega said, don't do it. So I think whoever is coming in next, because the present chairman was head of TED Fund, and he was in 2014 confab. So definitely he must, he was in government and he's still in government.
Right. This sort of supports the speculation that the APC, the APC is the one that stands to benefit from it now, that the APC is looking to get the president to assent to the section of the Electoral Act, Amendment Act that would allow statutory delegates to vote. Do you think there's still hope for that, given how long the president has dawdled to get this, to sign it?
Well, the president is head of APC. He will do anything that will favor him.
But why hasn't he done so in the past?
Well, I mean, it's
does that mean he knew that this extension would happen?
But ordinarily, I supported the president at that point in time when he refused, because if he had approved it, it's going to be more people, more problems in terms of logistics, transportation, hotel accommodation, because we are now talking of 7,800.
But isn't that how it's always been done?
No.
Statutory delegates vote?
Yes, they've been voting, but at that point in time, you have indirect voting, delegates, and so few delegates. But now, because of that huge number, don't forget, it's going to be chairmen across the board, councillors across the board, parties towards ministers, governors, and all the rest. So it's going to be larger. But to be manageable, the number they used, that APC, PDP used, will have been manageable. And I think the president should still not sign it, because although he doesn't care, whether people say, he's in favor of the party or not. But I think, in fairness to everybody, he should still have allowed it, let him not sign it. After all, nobody loses anything. Nobody is only the North who will always gain, whether he signs it or not. Why? Because PDP used one person per the local government. Okay, so the North has more, 19 states. You look in terms of the local government, the North has 419, the South has 355. If you add that, it's 774. So they will always win at any point in time. Look at the National Assembly, the same thing. It has affected House of Reps, it has affected the senators, unless we change that narrative, and allowing states, to have the number of local governments they need, without necessarily paying them, through the National Assembly. Because even when Tinubu rebelled, the then president did not even give him the money. Despite the fact that the court said, pay the man. So that will have solved the problem at that point in time if the then president had supported Tinubu. But it was not Yar'Adua that came back and gave, assumed office and gave that money back. So there are so many things wrong with our constitution, which must be resolved if we want a democratic system that is fair to all, there is justice and equity.
Do you think PDP made a statement going ahead with their primaries? Because when they released the statements and castigated INEC as regards postponing, many people were watching and saying, okay, let's see if they will go ahead. In fact, at some point, the news broke that the convention had been postponed until they came out to say, the convention is going ahead. So do you think they made a statement?
Well, for me, they were left to the fate accompli, take it or leave it. They didn't have any choice because the delegates had arrived already. And in Abuja, if you have lived in Abuja, in fact, there was a time a contestant, an aspirant, already bought all the good hotels in Abuja, and people were even squatting with their relatives and what have you. So logistics, transportation, waste of money will have been the order of the day. That was the reason why they didn't cancel it. Ordinarily, they would have loved to cancel it. Well, the point they made is we're already in Abuja and we have to go ahead, not because they have any other reason. If the thing were to have been done before they made that election, if INEC had increased that, added those days before they went to Abuja, maybe it would have helped them one way or the other. But they had no choice. They had no choice.
Do you think that affected the outcome of the PDP's primaries, especially the presidential primaries? Do you think that could have changed or changed the outcome in that Atiku Abubakar emerged?
It will have changed.
Because that would have allowed former presidents
Lola,
and former
it will have changed nothing. Because if you look at the dynamics, PDP had been off power after ruling for 16 years. 2 electoral cycles now, they missed, 2015, 2019. And PDP was bent on coming back to power. That was what we saw play out, in Abuja. It will have changed nothing because at that point in time, you have the North believes that it has to come back. And secondly, that they need the 12 million votes that Atiku spoke about. So if you don't appoint a Northerner, they will not have the opportunity of going back because they believe at that point in time that that APC was supporting Wike because Wike is, a weak candidate, in quotes, because Wike has proven that he's not weak with the aid of money, allegedly. So nothing will have changed because already they know they already have their eyes on the ball, that this is it. And that's the reason why there is a difference between them and us. Look at what actually transpired. Even before then, Northern Elders Forum, headed by Anglo Abdullahi and by Baba Ahmed, they had already tested, they had already, scrutinized, and screened 3 people. But yes, the 3 of them, Saraki, Bala Muhammad, and Tambua, already, and they choose. I think it was Saraki they chose. Already, Saraki, yes, they said Saraki said they chose him. Fine. It was an attempt to bring the number down because the number was huge, 17, and they screened 15. Okay, fine, but the North already made attempts through NEF. Secondly, when they knew that Wike was to win that election, and they made a statement, they say it is dangerous to allow Wike because you don't know what we can do, with presidential power. And so they were afraid of Wike, and so they had to, if a former president, with the military heads of states, generals, northerners of note, they now met and said, look, you guys, you must, somebody must come down. You need only one candidate. At that point in time, it didn't work. It was only Ayatu that offered, to step down. Again, they now said, okay, Wike was likely to use money, according to them, to use money to win that nomination. They now decided on Tambua, and Tambua caved in. When you talk of the northern establishment talking to you, you cannot do otherwise. So that was what actually happened. Even if the number had been 1 million, they have a stranglehold on their people. They have this unity, but we don't have. Look, the Afenifere summoned our own people to say, okay, the way things are going now, you dissipate your energy because you share your votes. Whereas if you put your eggs in one basket, it will help. It didn't work in our own case because of a special interest, that the individuals have, or promises that they've been given, that yes, you are going to be the consensus candidate, you are going to be the president's man and all that. So the situation was that the North would have held sway. Not because of the number. No. Whatever the number, the North has a way of doing it. Because all they need to do, they know. Because they knew at that point in time that Tambua has that number, larger number, to upturn the apple cart. And he said, okay, I'm stepping down, vote for so person, Atiku Abubakar. And that did the magic. Because they just gave all the votes, to Atiku Abubakar.
Before we talk about going back to the North and this general consensus as to enduring another, 4 years or 8 years, whichever eventually happens, of, a northern president after President Buhari is going to complete his tenure next year. The way we've not had any major blowback from the primary. Wike has not really. I know when he addressed the delegates, he did say that whoever won was going to have his support. Like, was not going to leave the party or what have you. We've seen Tambuwa and Atiku, meet after then. Let's look at what's happening in the APC. Do you see this decorum, quote and unquote, now? Because in politics, you never know. But at least from what we can see, do you see this level of decorum after the APC primaries?
Well, even the throwback, that the reactions you are talking about, there have been so many reactions, from different different organizations. The Afenifere, Ohanese, Pandef, Middle Belt, Forum, and the aggregation, the conjoinment, that total number of those four agencies, of the four organizations, have given the notice that, they've rejected the Atiku nomination. They are saying it's going to support northern hegemony, and they are saying don't subject yourself, to political slavery. So that is a very serious throwback, because they are saying, one, they should not allow themselves, to be used to support whoever, Atiku, for instance. They are saying don't accept the position of vice president. Don't vote for him. And it tells a story. But let's go back to your question. The APC. In fact, APC is going to implode. God forbid. Because they are laying the foundation. When Adamu was appointed, I knew, through consensus, I knew it's going to be very difficult, because he will koto, that is now looking at the president for virtually everything. And recall, the former Director General of the Nigerian Governors Forum issued a press statement to say, in fact, we don't even know what Adamu is doing. There's so many things he's not doing. He's using the name of the president, to do so many things. And so that tells a story that is going to improve, because, one, there is a Tinubu factor there. If they still want to do this consensus, it's going to be boomerang. Because who do you consensus or consensus out? Who do you leave out? Is it Tinubu? Is it Osinbajo? Are you talking of people of southern extraction, or no? And not the rest of them? Or the south, Akpabio? There are so many of them, from the south. So, on Wajuba, who are you going to tell to? In fact, already I read in the papers that they've already told all the aspirants that they only need 10 of them. How do you weed them down to the 10? And do you weed Tinubu out? Oh, Tinubu, whatever you want to say about him, he has, just like Atiku, he has constructed bridges across the nation. Already, in fact, calculation has shown that if they go to count, to vote, there will be about 12 states who are already rooting for Tinubu. And so, and if you leave somebody that, like, if you toy with somebody like that, he might go to another party. Don't forget that even the elongation of the date now has helped some parties. Yes, I mean, Obi will now join Labour. Some others, Tinubu might go to SDP, because SDP has said, yes, although we are not pushing, but if your party is not fair to you, our doors are open. And this elongation of time has allowed that. So, and if you leave Tinubu to take his candidature somewhere, it's going to spell, because especially in Southwest and even parts of the North, because some Northerners are rooting for him. I mean, the former SGF, and so many of them. So it will boomerang. And I say, yes, PDP is cool, because already so many of them are even congratulating Atiku. Even people from there's somebody from the National Assembly.
Right.
One of them is already congratulating Atiku, and so many, congratulating Atiku. They have accepted their fate because they already saw it coming. PDP has said, we must take somebody from the North, because that is the voting power. Forgetting that when you talk of PDP in the North, I think there are only 5 of them. They are talking of Adamawa, Taraba. They are talking of Bauchi. And where is Sokoto? Where is? I mean, they still bank on the 12 million that Buhari has. So many things will happen during this election, because if the Southeast is able to, the South generally is able to say we are not going to vote for this person, and they vote for somebody of Southern extraction, it may upturn the apple cart. Don't forget that when an issue like this crops up, people's conscience will be touched, and people will say, enough is enough. One, PMB is a Muslim. PMB is from the north. It's going to spend 8 years. And the argument has been zoning, especially in PDP. In 1998-99, when Obasanjo came on board, I mean, Dr. Abubakar Rimi still contested the election. He wanted to test his popularity. It doesn't preclude you, but they will say we have zoned it to this place, and that is the way it went. Yaradua, when Yaradua was to be appointed, to come in, to be elected, Odili contested that election. Odili, charismatic gentleman, he contested that election and lost. But the zoning had been done. This time around, you are saying no. So many things may still happen during this next election.
Some members of the PDP believe that Atiku is their realistic chance of winning the next
What of
election.
Tambua? Tambua would have... In fact, Tambua is younger. The initial thing was that either a governor or a former governor will be supported by PDP governors. And, I mean, what of Saraki? How do you judge the betterment, or how do you judge the personality of an individual in terms of governance? I mean, Atiku, yes, was vice president for 8 years, fine. But he does not, I mean, if you look at the trajectory during the period, I mean, the sale of national assets and what have you, some people will say no. Recall that one thing that worked against Atiku in 2019 was his promise to sell the NNPC and some other, non-working institutions of government. So you cannot. Tambua will have been it. He was a successful Speaker of the House of Representatives. Saraki will have been it. Saraki faced PMB squarely. That was the time PMB sent a bill to say, okay, allow me to run this economy without falling back on the National Assembly to seek approval. Saraki said no. So Saraki is younger. He has shown us that he can face, circumstances. So Atiku may not be it, although I agree that Atiku has built bridges across the nation. But when it comes to crunches like this, some other person, provided Nigerians believe in that person. But the point is, picking anybody from the north is an anathema. Yes, it's an anathema, because that is the only thing that is still keeping Nigeria together since 1999. Zoning.
All right, we're going to actually dwell a little more on zoning, but let me remind you that you can tweet at us at Splash FM 1067. We're on Twitter Space at the moment, so you can also listen from there if it's more convenient, and then tweet when you have a question or a comment. Don't forget to use the hashtag Panorama on Splash. WhatsApp is 081-7555-1067. Send us a WhatsApp comment and it'll be read out. We also have Facebook where we're live streaming. Want to get the full audio-visual experience, simply search us on Facebook at Splash FM 106.7. Watch the live stream and then comment in the comment section there. Now, there are some who say that this has been set in motion from when the PDP has been ambivalent about zoning. Didn't want to commit.
No.
It's been sort of speaking from both sides of the mouth on the issue of zoning. That some had already predicted, even as far back then, that the end game was to have Atiku Abubakar emerge as its flag bearer. However, on the zoning matter, I know Nigerians are quite passionate about it. The ordinary Nigerian is quite passionate about it. The South believes that it should be an equitable turn-by-turn thing. However, there has been a decided lack of correspondence in the way the masses feel about zoning and how the political bigwigs who are of Southern extraction feel about it. Take Atiku Abubakar's emergence, for example. So far, we've seen Governor Ifeanyi Okowa,
yes, congratulate him.
Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo
State.
Also, other presidential aspirants such as Senator Pius Ayin, Chief Dele Momodu, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, who defected from the PDP very recently, Jim Nwobodo, and even an APC member, APC chief Tim Bola Tinubu, congratulated him on his emergence. And even before he emerged, many expected more from the southern candidates, to force the hand of the PDP to zone, or even, if not force them, or to protest their lack of zoning. The fact that the PDP members who are heavyweights within the party, but are also of southern extraction, did not do anything particularly strong to show their commitment to zoning, does that mean that we're operating at two different levels? I mean, the ordinary Nigerians who are passionate about zoning, and are there other permutations that these southern candidates are looking at aside from zoning? Is there something stronger for them than maybe their need to zone it to their region for equity's sake?
In fact, rather, I would say the cry had been there all along. Since 2021, the southern governors met in Asaba and said, this is, in fact, Kedulu has been passionate about it.
So you think they did all they could?
They did all they could. But look, the reason why it's like this is, when you look at that committee that handled it, 37 of them in number, one from each state, headed by Autumn of Benue State, they voted. And just the same thing we are talking about, 19 states to 17, you look at the local government and all that. So they voted, and the A's to reject zoning, to make it, to throw it open, won. There was no other way they could have protested other than this cloud, this, cry, that this is the way it is done. And
you don't think they could have come out, had a consensus candidate from the south?
Fine.
They would all throw their weight behind.
Towards the tail end, they were working towards that, especially in the southeast. They were working towards, a consensus candidate. But even if they had a consensus candidate, is it not voting? Although I agree that the north is no more monolithic, especially when you look at the south, the central, northern central factor, they are no longer monolithic. But when it comes to zoning and doing things surreptitiously, they are always united. And we, the southerners, are not. But they really worked. The southerners spoke. In fact, Body George cried out. Even among the northerners, El Rufai, Autumn, Zulu, so many of them said no. Let's go back to, because
Eddie, these men are strategists.
They are strategists, but they cried out. It is because
beyond
crying out. The scale is against the South in terms of number. Yes, it's against. Look, Wike, so many people don't like his approach, brash. Can talk to anybody, and that was why he lost Edo. Edo delegates, because himself, he said he told Obaseki what Adams Oshiomhole said about you is true. You are a betrayer and all that. He doesn't know how to talk. But if he had been a cool person, maybe, in fact, if Tambua had not intervened, those who intervened, former president, former heads of military heads, former governors and northern governors and all that, if they had not intervened, we may have won that primary. If they had not intervened, if the thing had gone, because he has spent a lot of money. So they cried out, but what are the sources? NWC kept, okay, what could be more than IU coming from the North Central? Even for APC, Adamo coming from North Central. And the idea is, when the chairman comes from a particular place, then because of the presidency, the other side will choose, the president.
Well, the parties have said that's not exactly the case.
It's exactly the case. It's the case.
It only applies to their party position.
No, they have decided to turn it around this time. That has been the matter. Look, when Abiola lost, the Abiola election was annulled, they finished his business, he died in their custody, and Afenifere said, no way you can bring any other person to come and be president except Yoruba. Olufalaye and Obasanjo contested, because the Afenifere said no, it's injustice. So what we are seeing is injustice, whichever way you want to look at it.
But this clamor for a president of southeastern extraction, we saw some of the votes that the core Easterners.
Yes, I am 14. Yes,
and
Sam Muhambu Awan, yeah, and all that. Yes.
And you look at the number of delegates from that part of the country. So, are they putting their money where their mouth is? It's one thing to come to the pages of the newspapers and say that the next president has to be from the southeast. But when push comes to shove, and then it's time for you to vote for, as delegates from that part of the country, and then we saw the number of votes Aim and Sam got.
Yes. Well, the money has played a huge role in this matter. Although one would have expected that even if any of them, Aim would have lost or Habua, it wouldn't be that number, because the Bauchi governor still got 20, and in fact, Autumn and the man Okoa scored 37. So maybe that is the delegates, that they had. When you look at the number of delegates, allocated to each state, because if you look at Kano, despite the fact that Kano and Lagos were at par, 2020 local governments before, Kano is now 44 local governments. So whoever Kano voted for, it was instructive. And Tampua must have, he said he worked along among themselves, among all the governors, so to get it done. So it's whichever way we want to look at it, what happened in Abuja has knocked on the very serious aspect of this country. Let's just look at it. Some people will argue that it's not in the constitution, fine, but it's in PDP's constitution. Not only that, it's in what is in the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Federal character, appointments in an elective position. What else do they want? Some other countries do not have written constitution. Britain does not have any written constitution. They rule through conventions, habeas corpus, Magna Carta, and traditions and what have you. America's constitution consists of only 11 pages. Yes, but they run the country. And when their First Amendment, Congress had do nothing, to oppose people's speech and what have you, they will do it. Second Amendment, this gun issue, defend yourself and all that. But in our own case, we continue to say it's not in the constitution. So many countries have done so many things, even in Nigeria. The doctrine of necessity came about because there was elite consensus in the National Assembly. This Abiola case too, there was consensus in the National Assembly amongst the elites. But here, more often than not, we don't have that kind of elite consensus, and that's the reason why we are here, where we are now.
Right.
Because at any point in time, we should be able to look at the country and say, okay, what do we do? Look, Sudan broke because of this northern domination, to southern Sudan, and so many other countries. Whereas some other countries have taken decisions to say, okay, because we want this union, we want this federation. You talk of, countries like Canada. When Quebec wanted to leave, he said, no, what's the problem? Okay, let's make 4 languages, national languages. And Quebec is still there. Netherlands, he said 7. There are 7 areas. Let each person produce, be in charge of one portfolio or the other. Then there will be one person to be the president in rotation. And that person will be primus inter pares. And that's why Netherlands is one of the strongest economies in the whole world. But here we don't want to budge.
Right. We'll be getting to the phone lines very soon, so please bear with us. However, I would like to ask, do you think that that the APC will be looking at Atiku's emergence as a way to either present a counter, because there were suggestions that both parties were waiting to see.
Yeah, sure, of course. That was why we are postponing and all that. Yeah, sure.
So now Atiku has emerged. Do you think the APC will either use this as an opportunity to maybe present a stronger, in quotes, northern candidate or a southern candidate, and then play on the sentiment of those who want zoning very badly?
Look at all the northern candidates and northern, aspirants in that list. They're talking of the president of the Senate, Lawan. Is Lawan stronger than Atiku? You are talking of the Jigawa, the governor of Jigawa State is in there. Is that the person you are talking about? Is he Atiku is just like the American Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, the 16th president of America, he contested almost 13 times before he bagged it. So that's Atiku. Some people will have that sentiment. It's okay, is this guy's time? So who again? The guy in Kogi, Yaya Bello, is he? Haba. When did he? Atiku has been operating since 1993. Since 1993. In fact, the election that brought Abiola, he was to be the running mate to Abiola. It was Yar'Adua that told him that, look, oh boy, allow Babagana Kingibe to do it. So it's larger than life, no doubt about that. I'm not talking of his character, but in terms of political sagacity, affiliation, and all that, he gets things done. In Port Harcourt, Wike said this man abandoned us, so let him not come back. After he lost the election in 2015, he went abroad. He said we will not vote for him, but in the final analysis, he prevailed. Yes, because Wike was supporting Tambua. So I do not see anybody, any northerner in APC that can defeat Atiku in any election. Yes, let's be true. Let's be candid with ourselves.
All right, let's get to the phone lines now. 0704 400 1067, 0817 444 1067, 0705 050 1067. Hello, good morning.
I was listening with rapt. Good morning, Nicholas.
Nicholas, good morning.
Yeah, I was listening with rapt attention, and as Eddy Aina was speaking, I remembered a commentator when Italy played England in the second round of the Euro Cup, and the commentator said, throughout the 90 minutes, Andre Pirlo had not had a poor touch on the ball. No, God bless you. But it's unfortunate many people in the South don't even understand what we are saying. There was on January 15th, every one day, Babagana told the ABU students, they own the country. We have power. We will dictate power. It was even on my Sule Remembrance Day, he reminded them that we have our figures. We have our own census figures, and we shall dictate who rule. Now you can see why Peter Obi left that primary, because it's better to come third in the national election than embarrass yourself by getting 0 or -1. Boyega, you do not need to understand mathematics. You only need to understand arithmetic. When you see the delegates, to know that it will think towards the north. And when some of us have been saying this restructuring, people like Pa Clark, Pa Adebanjo, and some other Nigerians, and this zoning, we think they are high on Tramadol. Now see it. The only man that can defeat Atiku in a general election in this country is not eligible to contest. And that's right. The APC, we don't need to think it will implode. It has imploded. The APC was like an amalgamation of the Ammonites, the Edomites, and the Moabites, just to remove Jehoshaphat from power. Professor Yomi Oshibanjo knows this verse in the Bible. People might not know, but I'm sure Pastor Remi Tunebu knows this verse.
Please wrap up now, Nicola.
Thank you, Goyega. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution this morning. Let's get to this line. Hello, good morning. Oh, my. All right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Tajudeen calling from my phone.
All right, Tajudeen, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Eddy Aina.
Good morning.
Yes, it's quite sad that in Nigeria, politics is just palpitations. It's about the party. What candidate can favor the party? The party wants to be in power at all costs. Not that who is the most credible the candidate that can move Nigeria forward. It is about who can win us votes. Should it be like this? How do we want to move forward? Because sincerely speaking, it's looking more like Atiku is the next president in this country. Because I'm looking at what APC, what candidates do they want to? Because it is now about money, bringing out. In fact, money will rule in 2023 elections. Sincerely, we are just in it in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
0704 400 1067. Hello. All right. Apologies. Let's take this other
Having
call.
issues with that line.
Good morning, Professor Bertrand Eddy Aina. Good morning, my sister, my brother, and on Splash FM there. My name is Honorable Larry Jaji. Larry J is calling from the People's Parliament in Abeokuta. Baba Eddy, you're always there. Always enjoy your support, sir. Go in wisdom, sir. You see, the truth of the matter is, yes, the likability of article, taking up the day is very, very clear. But if people are going to watch keenly and probably, go their conscience, they can say, okay, how can a Muslim, be living by 2023, another Muslim come in and come and rule another 8 years, making 16 years of the northern part of the Muslim ticket or whatever. So, but it all depends. The problem now, my fear is, who is APC going to present that can match article very well, except Jagaban. And I don't know, Jagaban and article are friends. Probably you just match them together. Probably Jagaban becomes the president or vice versa. Because I don't see what is going to happen. But let's wait and see. Let Nigerians go and take their PVT and vote their conscience. Good morning, have a pleasant day. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, have a pleasant day yourself. We appreciate you. The phone lines are open. I will still have a few more minutes to take your calls and your contributions. Twitter is there, Twitter Space as well, WhatsApp, another platform through which you can join us. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Abayomi. Good morning. This is Abayomi calling from Melega.
Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, I really appreciate Eddy Aina. God bless you so much, sir. Concerning this coming election, this is my take. APC will, the northern APC, because those are the people that are determining what happens in Nigeria, the northern APC will feature a very weak candidate that the north can easily defeat. And that is just what will happen. Whether APC brings in, you just wait and see. They're very, very weak candidate so that the north will go back there again. That is just what I'm seeing. And I hope God sees us through. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. A lot of permutations happening across the country.
Nothing is decided.
We have someone on
yet.
the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Johnson Olufatoki, calling from Abeokuta.
Please go ahead, Olufatoki.
You can see clearly the APC have been using the benchmark of PDP to take decision. Now, by the time they decided to have their chairman, the chairman of the party from the North Central, they did not take decision until PDP decided to make IU the chairman. Now, they kept on postponing the primaries until PDP actually conducted their own primaries successfully. By now, I believe the APC is in a total confusion of which part of the nation to have their flag bearer. But my own concern, and that should be the concern of Nigerians, is which political party with their manifesto and the presidential candidate that will actually be effective and efficient to take Nigeria out of these challenges we have. That should be the concern. And that is why energetic and serious-minded individual to be our president. I pray that God will continue to be with this nation. Good morning, and God bless Nigeria.
Amen.
Thank you for your contribution. We can make it one last call if you're quick. 0704 400 1067. Please turn down the volume on your radio set. Yes, this is Splash FM. What's your name?
I don't want to lose my name, calling from Abeokuta.
All right, go ahead, please.
I align with the views of Eddy Aina, talking about patterns, conventions that already existed. You see, what has happened now is the reality of the domination that we are talking talking about, it happened in Bible times. Have you ever had the word to your tent, O Israel? Those who have inhabited the whole thing to get to it, it's not as simplistic as it is. I think we should not be looking at 2023 as solving the identity crisis.
Oh man. We seem to have a network challenge there. We can't hear you anymore. But those on Twitter Space, TYYs and Olayinka, we appreciate you. If you would also like to speak, do let us know. You can request the microphone. But
although maybe not now, as we have to go on a commercial break, I believe.
Yes, we have to go on a commercial break in about a minute or thereabout. But let me see if I can run through Twitter comments very quickly before we get to... Or should we sneak this call in? Okay, let's make this our final call. You have 30 seconds. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, let me try and make use of that.
Please go ahead.
There's one thing Nigerians we don't get right, and we make a lot of mistakes when it comes to that. And it's the fact that every periodic election we hold in Nigeria, the eventual winner, they are being determined by a whole lot of different, peculiar factors. So this coming one, I think it's not all about what we actually want. So it will be decided by when they will look at the detention and what is obtainable currently in the country. So that's what will determine it. We said a lot of things that people thought it was gibberish. Atiku as a man now, you can just write it down. BHT is the most likely candidate that they come out of APC platform that they will field at the end of the day. So, and lastly, people make a mistake that we just lump them together, that they are all northerners. Atiku is from the northeastern. So the major beneficiaries of that slot from the north has always been from the northwest. So if we want to be lumping them together, so we should be lumping all the south together too. So constitutionally, morally, and even going by the zoning arrangement. So there's nothing stopping Atiku from contesting.
All right. Well, no one has said there's anything stopping him from contesting. I know there's a lot of permutations, a lot of calculations going on, even on social media, where people are also trying to draw parallels, draw a line here and there. But until the primaries happen, that's for the APC. I think that of the Labour Party is happening today. And I know several other parties will also have their own presidential primaries in the next few days. But we have to proceed on a commercial break now. Please stay with us. When we come back, we'll take your comments on Twitter, on Facebook, and on WhatsApp as well. And maybe sneak in one or two more calls. But please stay with us. We'll be back.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
I like talk radio.
Welcome to your number one talk radio station.
Fasten your seatbelts.
This is your favorite station.
Splash FM 106.7.
Ọlá lékè ìyànda mo tún ti dòde, òpè tí o mo dù. Kọ́ lọ sá pamọ́ o. Èmi náà ń fi àsìkò ìbá iléeṣẹ́ IAS dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run yáyọ̀ ayẹyẹ ọdún kẹfà tí wọ́n dá iléeṣẹ́ IAS sílẹ̀. Àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ kan ló bá ayẹyẹ ọdún kẹfà rìn tí mo sì fẹ́ kẹ́yìn olólùfẹ́ mi kí ẹ jẹ nínú àǹfààní náà. Ṣẹ́rí lásìkò ayẹyẹ àjọ̀dún ọdún kẹfà tí wọ́n dá iléeṣẹ́ yìí sílẹ̀. Ilẹ̀ wọn tí wọ́n ń pè ní Country Garden lẹ́ máa rà ní ẹ̀dínwó 150,000 naira dípò 300,000 tí wọ́n ń tà tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. Country Garden yìí jẹ́ ilẹ̀ tó tẹ́jú kì í ṣe ilẹ̀ olómi. Ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú méjì péré ni sí títì ọlọ́dà. Ilẹ̀ dára fún ẹni tó fẹ́ kọ́lé kíákíá tó bá sì jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin fẹ́ ra ilẹ̀ ìpamọ́ ṣe òwò ni ogún iyebíye lẹ gbámú yẹn o kódà ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú méje ni sí alámàlà barracks randa lábẹ́òkúta owó ìlàjì plot lẹ máa fi ra odidi kan Country Garden yìí tí wọ́n ń tà ní 300,000 tẹ́lẹ̀ lẹ máa rà ní 150,000 naira lásìkò yìí June 6 làǹfààní yìí máa wá sópin o pé 08092944848.
One na dey go sef one na body go dey drive for stand upon say bike don scarce or people wey dey bus stop plenty you come wait so tey your appointment don pass make una mind dey coole. Akko-Ride na better option for every corner wey dey Abeokuta as e big reach. No fear o. Anything wey be safety dey assured. Una ride go dey go siriri. The riders plus the passengers dem get security wey tanda gidigba. Wetin una still dey wait for? Go download the app on Google Play Store. Now, if na iOS, e still dey go immediately. Na 500 naira bonus go stand for una app. Bam! Aqua Ride. We shaking the money on a go carry body reach the destination. We don't mind. No, they waste time. Oh yeah, sharply join body for the website www.aquaride.ng. No, come forget, say on a go download the app on Google Play Store and iOS on a security data and dagidiba. Aqua Ride. Our riders them get identification element plus jacket. We get number. Aqua Ride. It is safe. It is secure. It's still on the affordable.
Overjara no the body is plenty. Overjara no the dry pocket. Overjara no the way is plenty. If you want 8 times the value to flex, if you know you go give you Overjara. Enter Overjara. Or see the charge we go give you Overjara. You deserve Overjara.
Get 8 times the value of any recharge plus double data and 1,000 Naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, irú ìdààmú wo leléyìí pàápàá.
Wo ibẹ̀ ni o jókòó sí kó má béèrè ìbéèrè tí ò ní túmọ̀. Dípò kó pa wọ́n. Mélòó ló ti pa báyìí?
Ení, èjì, ó dàbí pé mo ti pa 5.
Èmi tí mo ti pa bí 20. Ó mà dàbí pé a ti pa gbogbo wọn.
Alóṣèkéyọ̀ kan. Ẹ wo ibẹ̀ yẹn ló wà. Mo ti rí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ibùsùn ọmọ mi.
Ẹ̀fọn mélòó ló fẹ́ pa? Ìwọ ló máa rẹ̀ gbẹ̀yìn. Ọ̀nà tó dájú jùlọ láti sáfẹ̀fọn àti láti dènà àrùn ibà ni sísùn sínú àwọn apẹ̀fọn lálaalẹ́ kó o sì rí dájú pé kò sí omi tó dárógún lágbègbè ẹ torí pé ibẹ̀ làwọn ẹ̀fọn ń pamọ́ sí. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀yin aláboyún ẹ má fi ìtọ́jú oyún ṣeré o torí ọmọ tó ń bọ̀ láyé tẹ́ ò bá fẹ́ ní àrùn ibà ó kù sọ́wọ́ yín o. Darapọ̀ mọ́ ìpolongo àrùn ibà pòfó bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú mi nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ká lè jọ dẹ́kun àrùn ibà láti ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tí kò ní àrùn ibà kó ipa tirẹ̀. Ìkéde yìí wá látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ àwọn àjọ tó ń gbógun ti àrùn ibà.
Quality paint create aesthetic and everlasting beauty on everything that they are applied on. That's why painters and contractors choose Ace Paint. Or 081-123-54575. Ace Paint. Ojúlówó ọ̀dà tí ń gbé wà lé jáde.
A wonderful morning starts with integrity. The integrity starts with you.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
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 Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Welcome back to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM. Thank you for staying with us right there. Let's take Twitter comments very quickly. And this one from at Gabe Smalls 007. He says, Mr. Eddy is a legend. I really wish to engage him one of these days. There's just so much to learn from him. He's a veteran. Live long for Nigeria, sir. Amen to that.
Amen.
We know and we appreciate him as well. Thanks. Dr. Adekunle Musa Olokuta says, the guests have done justice to the emergence of Alhaji Atiku. My question is, do you think any candidate from APC can defeat Atiku? If yes, who among the aspirants? If no, Hausa or Fulani take another 8 years to the north? Solution, please. Well, do you want to react to that now?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure there's any candidate in APC now that can do it. Because the Lawan and Atiku come from the same northeast. And apart from Balewa that ruled as prime minister between 1957 and 1966, nobody has come from northeast. So even in northeast, Atiku will defeat Lawan. So there is nobody.
Even from the south?
No. Well, Tinubu may, but the problem is they have this bulk votes, that PMB has been using since it started contesting election. You see, PMB had cult following. Whether that cult following will still be there after he must have left office is a different thing entirely. But they put, and unfortunately for the South, we don't even register. And those of us that register will be watching football on the election day. They are so passionate. Recall, Jega on many occasions will go to where they are registering and remove these young boys, these small boys, underage boys. Everybody registers. Everybody is forced to register. But here, I mean, even when you register, I listen, sometimes to Splash FM, when somebody said he had been there on many occasions, one person on your program said he has been there about 25 times, one thing or the other happened. So if you are denying, whereas there, they won't try it.
So all right. On Facebook, Cezanne Ezekiel said, with what I'm seeing from scenario game from PDP, said, 1, can all other candidates in APC step down for a substantive candidate, likewise what Tambuwa did at die minute for Atiku? 2, can electoral constitution be reviewed to allow mass reflection to allow the masses reflect in electioneering process? 3, can resolution to regional zoning of power be possible to Nigeria so as to showcase for aiding individual intellectuals? 4, when are we going to waive buy to vote and cook soup? Okay, he's talking about vote buying
money, yeah.
And 5, when will the generation of tomorrow be in power, not They say, good morning, Splash FM. I'm scared as Baba Aina was talking. Can Nigeria survive it if we have another northern president? Well,
on WhatsApp, Olajuwon says, with the allegation that the PDP presidential primary was marred with massive monetary inducement of candidates to vote for a particular candidate, and with the presence of EFCC at the venue, as said by the news media, is it that EFCC was there to supervise the process? However, I want to advise Nigerians to look beyond the PDP and APC and vote for a competent candidate from other smaller parties. PDP and APC are birds of a feather. I don't think they have anything for Nigeria. Also, the South must not allow the North to subjugate them by producing another president come 2023. One, Nigeria requires that we be fair to each other. The North has not shown any fairness to the South amid the fact that we are the ones laying the golden egg. This is injustice and wickedness, Olajuwon says. I mean, if you can quickly answer, what do you think are the chances of a third party outside the PDP and the APC winning or having even a strong chance at the presidential election? For example, with Peter Obi's defection to the Labour Party.
In fact, this the number, the 12 million we are talking about, will even deplete because with the incursion of Kwankwanso, New Nigerian People's Party, because Kwankwanso too is a force to reckon with, so he will garner some votes. So it's and that's where the third force may get something substantial. Because if Nigerians insist that we want character, we want the individual, we are voting for individuals, not the parties. Because some of the parties have disappointed many Nigerians. So if the individual is trustworthy, I mean, somebody like Peter Obi, Mogalu, there are some of them that are good, that can really, come out to solve all the problems, at least most of the problems we have in this country, and somebody who is not going to be nepotistic, who is going to manage our diversity, then people can vote for the person, depending on if we are able to do house-to-house mobilization. Because the problem in Nigeria is that even this third force don't mobilize enough. What was the outcome of their participation in 2019? I mean, the Beshore, what did less than 200,000 votes. Mogalu and all the rest of them. So they don't. If there is going to be a mega party, they are talking of 9 parties now. If those 9 parties cut across the nation, and they are able to mobilize house to house, get volunteers in the US. They have volunteers, students. They come out to volunteer. They go to house to say, okay, to convince people as to why they should vote for one individual or the other.
All right, let me continue with the WhatsApp comments. Surakat Abdulhamid Abiodun has a long one here. He says, I'm going to try and get through it. INEC is not independent and can be likened to an appendage of the ruling party APC. There were times political parties had asked the commission's chairman to extend time for party primaries, which he replied with an emphatic no. So he should come and tell us what has changed between then and now. I'm highly disappointed in the way and manner the commission is carrying out their functions and activities. They have jettisoned the hope Nigerians reposed in them, and that 2023 election, I pray they don't bow to pressure from the cabals. Let him learn from Jega and do the right thing at all time. Atiku said he will sell those assets that are not performing, and please can you tell me the performance of those assets under Buhari? Let us face reality. NNPC refineries owned by government and others are just being used as a conduit pipe to siphon money.
Sure.
I remember when we had to buy ordinary SIM card for 40,000 naira when communication was privatized. But now SIM cards are even free, so the turnaround is massive and still going through more rebuilding process. Look at a former hotel. We can all see the transformation now that it's been privatized, so government does not have much business in business. He referred to a hotel in Ogun State that went from public owned to private owned. This next comment from Olusegun from Abule Oloni says, "Good morning, Panorama. Mr. Eddy has told us a bitter truth this morning concerning Atiku's personality. Atiku Abubakar is an enigma in Nigerian political space, and I must agree with Mr. Aina that it will be difficult for any northern candidate to defeat Atiku." Okay, more of the same comment. This comment from Nicholas says, "Boyega, are you telling me you did not see the meeting by Park Conde as an attempt at consensus? What was the resolution?" This next comment from Sanitarian Akiola Luwarotimi from Ashero says, "Good morning to the presenters." Okay, well, just a general well wish or prayer for Nigeria. Well, thank you everyone for your contribution. I think we have a new one on Twitter.
On Twitter, at CCC on Nobayo said, "Good morning, Splash FM. The only APC aspirant that I think can square Atiku is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, the northern oligarchy in APC will put forward a weak candidate in order for their northern agenda of power retainership to be upheld." Well, in the next few days, we'll find out. Someone said, "I have such assumption also. I think there is an indirect support for Atiku by the Asoro cabal." Well, we'll see. 2023 is around the corner, and I'm sure we'll find out. And the APC will have to hold their primaries eventually.
On the 6th and 7th. Let's wait and see.
So we wait and see. But thank you very much. We wanted to also talk about some of the discrepancies, especially delegate lists, people complaining about substitution of delegate lists. It happened here in Ogun State. I know it happened in Oyo State. It happened in several states.
Or even in some cases, after they have been declared winners, they eventually found that, they weren't
like
winners
in Lagos
after all.
State, in the case of Banki W. There are several issues in our politics.
Well, it shows lack of internal democracy. And I would think that what parties have to do is to adopt the direct primary thing, although that too is subject to, but it's minimized. Just like the option A4, when people queued behind candidates. But because of the number, it's not going to be possible this time around. But if you take direct primary, where the individual who is a member of a particular political party has the right to vote for that person, I think that is what will do it. But apart from that, then the second factor is the power that the governors hold. Governors or the president, they are very, very powerful. And in any case, even those are the national chairman, they've given powers to them. Because
governors weren't allowed to vote in this.
No, what I'm saying is, in their own states, you can't defeat them. No way. What of Makinde? Look, all of them gone back. Kwara.
So you're saying even though they didn't have power as statutory delegates, they still have power to influence
of course.
Delegates.
Look, power. What is power? Azikwe, when he was told what to define power, he says, yes, if we are 10 in a room and one person has gone, that's the person that has, because he can hold all of you to ransom. That's what the governors do. They are in charge of money. They are in charge of machinery. Look, what of Ogun State? Even when the Paki, is it People's Alignment Party or whatever, the Akilade, APM. Look, they could not do anything because the man in power is the man in power. He has the machinery. He has even the security agencies. He can direct and say, look at what Wike did to this guy in Rivers State. He was going for primary. He said, no, the guy is still in detention. That is the power of a governor. So they have the machinery. That's the reason why you have all these discrepancies we are talking about. Although the national body too was complicit, especially when it comes to PDP. Because between Lawal and Adebutu, they presented two different delegates lists. Where did they get them? From Abuja. So the internal democracy thing and the ineffectiveness of the parties. The man who was permanent secretary at the DG, for Nigeria's Governor Forum, said that much, that even the Adamu that are just taking over now, is just, the man is not non-existent. He looks up to Buhari, for everything. That so many people, you say, let's sack the directors. We've sacked the directors. Even their pension and everything, that place is in disarray. So that's what you get when you have people who just appoint for the sake of it. We need to put sanity in the political parties need to put sanity in their arrangement. That's why you have all these contests and what have you.
It looks like the courts will be inundated with so many cases last time. Because even in Ogun State, it looks like 2 candidates emerged for
PDP, yes?
PDP,
yes,
and in several other states as well. I saw a video that Shina Pella posted on Twitter where he said Fatai Buhari and as the only candidate, they were waiting for them on the field where the venue of the primary was supposed to be, and then they caught them, voting in one man's house. And I know there are.
Bashir Ahmed, who a former aide to the president, also alleged that,
You see, there was this, although some politicians would not like it, there was this altercation between Akinloye and some UPN members then. And Akinloye said, oh, but what are you talking about? That Baba taught us 21 methods, and we have only used one, you are crying. So, methods, of rigging, it's been there all along. That's what I'm trying to
Is there a way INEC can check these parties in their...
Look, I even pity INEC. INEC has a lot, to contend with. Are you talking of printing of papers? Are you talking of ad hoc staff that will go to almost 1 million? Are you talking of universities? Are you talking of so many things? Even the equipment most of them are not working. So INEC has a lot. How to deal with riverine areas, and how to do with people who would want to deliberately snatch boxes and all that, and people will even contend against direct transfer of election results. Some people, even the National Assembly, put it in there that where necessary is where you can transmit election electronically. So I pity INEC.
Well, there's an additional comment on WhatsApp. The first line, I think you're missing something. So I'm just going to start reading from here because this is where it sort of makes sense. You say, trust me, the North likes Oshibajo Wella even more than Tinubu. They just want to chop Tinubu's money. That's why they follow him. The delegates that Tinubu thinks he has at hand will go against him when the APC presidential primaries comes up. That was sent in by Engineer Yanu Richard.
Well, it's not impossible. There's this, again, it happened during election of 1966, 1965. It's a Yoruba faction. Meaning that, yes, I can tell you, I can show you by hand, I'm going to vote for you. But inside me, you don't see it. So what happens is, I'm in the Democratic Party or whatever. So you cannot, what that guy said is right. They may be supporting you openly. But when they get to where they are going to vote, in fact, that's the reason why some people even make you to swear an oath that you have taken money from me.
If you don't vote. With the lower primary.
Exactly.
With some candidates collecting the gifts they are giving the delegates.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. What of this guy? The son, Adamu, the son of the vice president, Adamu Sambu. He said, I gave you 2 million. And with a promise to give you another 1.5 million. And if you are not paying, give me back my money. So there is no way you can stop it for now.
All right. Let's get to the newspapers, the second segment of the show now. I have with me the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
I have here Vanguard newspaper.
Let's start with the headlines. PDP presidential primary, fresh issues over north-south balance with the riders. Articles emergence, affront on South. That's according to the South and Middle Belt Forum. It's 95 pellets of heroin. EFCC arrests ex-governor Yari. Methodist Church prelate, 2 others kidnapped in Abia. Adelabu dumps APC. Buhari wins Oyo North Central primary. That's Fatai Buhari, not Muhammadu Buhari. Shina Pella loses. Those are the headlines on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
On the front page of Vanguard here, lead story, PDP Wike Okowa Udom, I am on cards for BP slot. Tambuwal tipped for Senate presidency. Atiku can lead PDP to rescue Nigeria, say Okowa and Obaseki. He shouldn't use local champion as running mate, Dele Momodu says. Meanwhile, Peter Obi, Tinubu hail Atiku. Umahi says, I'll defeat Atiku before 12 noon if. Atiku's emergence an affront on the people of the South by PDP, by the SMBLF. Methodist Church prelates Uche, 2 others kidnapped in Abia. On train attack, terrorists withdraw threat to start killing abducted passengers, Gumi spokesman Mahmoud says. And it really is horrifying that those abducted from the Kaduna-Abuja train attack that happened well over 2 months ago now are still in captivity. 2023, APC governors gang up against Jonathan. Confusion as conflicting results mar APC primary in Oshun. Oil market, Bonny Light price hits $121.4 per barrel as experts predict instability. Ex-Governor Yari arrested over AGF's 80 billion naira probe. Ondo Court confirms Iralico as monarch, dismisses Deji of Akure's suit. Again, SMBLF's protestation on Atiku's emergence as they consider it an affront on the people of the South by the PDP. Alleged fraud, Supreme Court dismisses pro-panel's indictment of Amici. Pope appoints Bishop of Paleke, 20 others new cardinals.
Answered for all the things, that Wiki, all the charges of Wiki that he sold so many things, so many assets.
Well, it says here that the Supreme Court of Nigeria has dismissed the indictment of former Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amici, by a judicial commission of inquiry set up by River State Governor Nyesom Wike to probe allegations of fraud against him while he was governor. Delivering judgments on 27th of May in an appeal filed by Amici against Wike and 9 others, the Apex Court refused to stop the planned probe of Amici over alleged 96 billion naira.
Exactly.
But described Wike's Judicial Commission of Inquiry's work as a mere report that is not enforceable in law with absolutely no legal force.
You see, that's where we come in as journalists. This is misrepresentation of fact, because the fact remains that the Supreme Court had already told Amici, go and answer to all the charges. So now to say they dismiss, it's incredible. You see, at times, it's misleading headline. Maybe because they want to sell the paper. Because that's the reason why I asked, which Supreme Court are you talking about? There's only one Supreme Court, and that shows we journalists must check our facts, double check our facts, and make sure that the caption, the headline, reflects the meaning of the story. That's it.
Okay, let's start with the stories in the newspapers now. Those calling for Jonathan's return are selfish. That's according to Falai, former secretary to the federal government. Chief Odufalai has a plot to draft former President Goodluck Jonathan into the presidential race to the desperate attempt by some powerful individuals to quickly return power to the North after his one term in office. And another story related as well, the National Vice Chairman Northwest of the APC, Saliu Lukman, has advised those scheming to present former President Goodluck Jonathan as consensus presidential candidate to perish the thought.
Yes. I don't know. It's surprising that the former president, SY president, is coming to the fray at all. Because I would have expected him once and for all to say, okay, I'm not going that route, because there is no way you can go there without being, disgraced. There is no way. I think people who are touting this, but I'm surprised that the man had visited the president's nephew, that's Maman Daura, on 2 occasions. And he had even visited the chairman of APC, Adamu. And so that's where you cannot, you cannot get the clear picture. Because somebody from Otuoke had said that the man has registered in Ward 13, Ogbia, local government, and what have you, so you don't really get the picture. But the reason why they want to bring him back is simple. One, they believe that he has been very nice, to the president. One, for congratulating him and for steering clear of criticisms, unlike what other unlike what the cited chief of Olusegun Obasanjo, I will write letters, he will talk and all that against the president, but he has never done that. Then two, he did a lot, for the Amajiris, those schools he established, that even the present president, some of those schools are in tatters, that he didn't even bother. But if he could do that much, that's the reason why they said, yes, this guy will be, deserves it. But there is nothing clear cut about it. It's just speculation. I want to believe what Lukman said, that it's not their member and it cannot be, because they just want to rubbish him. And that's what Mahatma Gandhi, who was a thinker, and he from India said is politics without principle if he comes back. Because if you look at it generally, the man is towering above so many of them who have left, in the past, because the settlements and what have you. So I don't think he will jettison that, to come to, because Nigerians won't vote for him, because he is somebody you have said is clueless. Somebody who said for economics he was a failure and all that. So why we do not bring the man back? I don't think it's in own interest, to come back.
All right. Well, more on those irregularities that we spoke about.
Yeah.
This story talked within the pages of Vanguard newspaper.
Okay.
On APC primary, aspirants reject results, threaten litigation over alleged doctoring of delegates lists. Governor Abiodun promises to compensate those who lost party tickets. Another major crisis is imminent in the All Progressives Congress APC in Odo State over the list of delegates used for the conduct of the primaries of the party across the state. Aspirants of the party in the House of Assembly, House of Reps, and Senate have raised alarm over their inability to see the delegates list used for the election before the process started. Consequently, they rejected the results and threatened litigation, calling for cancellation of the election and a fresh exercise. Also, in Ogun State, the governor has appealed to those who lost the recent APC primary elections held across the state to remain calm and take the outcome of the elections in good spirits, promising that they would be duly compensated for their show of sportsmanship, as well as acknowledging their resilience. Also, in Osun State, it says here conflicting results have trailed the just concluded APC primary election as the Electoral Committee panel refused to declare the outcome of any of the exercises conducted over the weekend. The National Caretaker Committee for the House of Assembly primary election had directed the State Electoral Committee to conduct the election for the State House of Assembly. And while a senator supervised that of the House of Reps and Senate on Friday and Saturday, but no official result has been announced since the exercise. Different aspirants have been posting different results on social media, with each claiming victory in the exercise.
We have to take a commercial break now. When we get back, Eddie will react to those stories taken by Lola. Please stay with us.
Splash FM 106.7.
Ó yá ẹ̀yin tèmi, èmi ni demand Ṣẹ́gun ọmọ Ògúngbè. Mo fi àsìkò yìí bá iléeṣẹ́ IAS yọ. Ọdún mẹ́fà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ kan ẹ mọ̀ wípé kì í ṣe kéré mi. Wọ́n wá fẹ́ ṣe àjọ̀dún ọdún kẹfà. Country Garden tí wọ́n ti ń tà ní 300,000 naira tẹ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n wá ní kẹwàá mu ní 150,000 naira péré. OGJ ó ga jù. Ilẹ̀ Country Garden tí à ń sọ nípa èyí tẹ́jú gidi gan ni o. Kò kì í ṣe ilẹ̀ omi. Ẹ ò ní rìn ju ìṣẹ́jú méjì lọ kẹ́ tó bọ́ sí títì ọlọ́dà. Ilẹ̀ Country Garden ó dáa fún ẹni tí ó fẹ́ kọ́lé lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Fún ẹ̀yin tí ẹ fẹ́ ra àràpamọ́ ogún iyebíye ni ẹ fowó dè mọ́lẹ̀. Láti Alámàrà Barracks ní Randa 7 minutes péré lẹ máa fi dé Country Garden. Owó ìlàjì lẹ máa fi ra plọ̀tì kan. Àní OGJ ó ga jù. Ẹ gbọ́ mi yé lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 300,000 naira ti padà sí 150,000 naira. June 6 làǹfààní yìí máa dópin o. Ẹ ló my neighbor báwo ti máa kíra wa nìyẹn. Jọra àjọ máa kọ́lé síbẹ̀ ni. Ẹ pè 080 92 94 48 48.
Overjara no the body is plenty. Overjara no the dry pocket. Overjara no the way is plenty. If you want 8 times the value to flex, if you know we will give you Overjara. Overjara, see the charge we will give you Overjara. You deserve Overjara.
Get 8 times the value of any recharge plus double data and 1,000 naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Ẹ̀fà náà
ó yá ẹ tó kìkì ẹ rè sí ẹ.
ẹ má bínú ẹ jẹ́ n sáré yọsẹ̀ fún mọ́tò yìí. kí ló dé? ó dàbí wípé bátìrì ló ń yọ mí lẹ́nu.
àrè.
ó ní bí bẹ́ẹ̀jì ní yín lẹ́nu.
tí bátìrì bá ń yọ ọkọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹ wàá mọ̀nà lè ṣe Adco Die Hard battery níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta ojúlówó bátìrì mọ́tò.
ìkan náà ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń ta bátìrì ó ti sú mi.
padà Adco Die Hard battery tayọ àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ wọn nítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ mi díje ní gbogbo bátìrì téèyàn bá rà lọ́dọ̀ wọn. ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ báyìí nínú àwọn oníbàárà wọn ń dùn nítorí kò sí pé mọ́tò ń paná láàrin títì mọ́ kò sí irú bátìrì tẹ̀ ń wá tí ò sí lọ́dọ̀ wọn.
75 amps jẹ́ 28,000 naira 100 amps jẹ́ 38,000 naira 200 amps jẹ́ 140,000 naira.
Adco Industries USA Nigeria Limited ló ṣe ojúlówó Adco Die Hard battery.
níbo wá ní iléeṣẹ́ Adco Die Hard battery wà báyìí.
wọ́n wà ní nọ́mbà 15 Oníkólóbó Abẹ́òkúta telephone
0703-928-5741 tàbí 0703-116-4983.
àǹfààní yìí wà fún àádọ́ta èèyàn àkọ́kọ́ títí di ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kẹfà.
ó yá nìṣó níbẹ̀ kó lọ ra bátìrì ní kíákíá. Adco Die Hard battery ojúlówó gbà.
ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àbí. tó gbọ́mọ pọ̀n dáadáa. ilẹ̀ oko mo lọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ orílẹ̀ ìlúgùn ọlọ́run dá 25,000 ní plọ̀tì báyìí ẹ ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta kẹ́ ẹ gba ìdajì sí i. bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ gba plọ̀tì kan sí i. ilẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ kọ́bápá alábàtà ọ̀pẹ́jì 30,000 per plot. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ra plọ̀tì mẹ́ta ìdajì lẹ́gbà sí i. bó sì jẹ́ éèkà lẹ́ra ẹ ó gbòdìdì kan sí i. àwọn onírà ti wà ńlẹ̀ láti ra èrè oko yín 39 NTA Road ọgbẹ̀ Abẹ́òkúta 08033706236 08033706236. ABR ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ abisuyọ lóko pọ̀kọ̀ ìgbọ̀tún fáwọn àgbẹ̀. ọjọ́ kẹwàá oṣù kẹfà làǹfààní yìí ó pin.
ẹ̀wọ̀n ònìyàn ẹni ó léwu kó nìyàn dọ́wọn ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́nu lọ́nà rẹ̀ tán ohun ìtìjú ń wà àti fọ́ kó lè fàjàkálẹ̀ àrùn torí náà níjọba ṣe ń ṣe òpolongo àtìgbàdégbà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń wá o na abẹ́ òfin kádàúlẹ̀ tàbí gbélé sí títì àgàgà kó gbélé sójú ọ̀nà àgbàrá ó lè fọmi yálẹ̀ àgbàrá ya ṣọ́ọ̀bù kẹ́gbálẹ̀ kẹ́gbàta kí wọ́n rògbò àyíká àwọn ẹ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀ kẹ́rin fọwọ́ ẹ̀dẹ̀ àdẹ̀dẹ̀ ulẹ̀ wọn sínú gbòròdómù ọlọ́mọ rí kúnyẹn dúrómù níwájú ilé wọn adọ́rí ìjọba yàn kúnyẹn BSP wọn wá gbẹdẹ́dẹ̀ ulẹ̀ náà dànù lójẹ́ ẹsẹ̀ kẹ́sẹ̀ mọ̀ tó tó ju tajà wọn búbúdó atọ́kọ̀ ṣe búbúdó gbafẹ́ gáràjì bùdókọ̀ dédé kẹ́sẹ̀ tó ṣe ulé wọn àti àyíká ilé wọn dédé ulé wọn jẹ́ dédé ojú ọ̀nà àgbàrá àgàgà kúbẹ́ bá ti ṣe pàtì kárẹ̀mí ṣe tani dédé kẹ́tù bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe o ulé rẹ̀ bá ti kọjọ́ inú gbòròdómù ti da ulẹ̀ tàbí gbé ulẹ̀ rojú náà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń wá o a ní ìrógbó àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn onígbà méjì iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn lè mójútó ohun ẹlẹ́gbin lọ́nà rẹ̀ tọ̀nà ogun ọmọ lè ń fọ́ rere fún kú mọ́tótó bóòrí àrùn mọ́lẹ̀.
Splash FM 106.7.
Panorama.
Panorama. Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama.
Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM.
Welcome back to Panorama on Splash 106.7 FM. So, that took a number of stories as regards discrepancies. So, Eddie, you have the floor.
Well. There's no way there won't be discrepancies, because they are not transparent about it. Most of them are opaque. For instance, even down the line, midway during the elections, they stopped it and started, injecting, asking people to come and revote again. I believe that, and I think it goes for everybody. Once you are taking part in an election, the list must be pasted. Even for those of us, who vote during the general elections, our names are there. You have to go and check if your name is there. That shows transparency. How can you be ordinary delegates election? How many are the delegates? They are not up to 500, and you cannot paste the list there. It means something is amiss. And unfortunately, we are even talking of delegates that were voted for. We are not even talking of delegates that were handpicked. People who underwent, a voting process. So how can names be missing there? It shows you the power of incumbency. Somebody who can say, okay, this one will not vote for us. Go and remove their names. They scrutinize the list. But at the initial stage, who did the compilation? Maybe the party structures, did the compilation. So they did whatever they liked with it. So it's still power, too much power concentrated in the hands of either the party chieftains or the governor. But more often than not, the people at the headquarters, they are complicit. For instance, in Ogun State, people were complaining about this Wale Ohu, that he was the one that came for the congresses at the ward level, at the local government level, and at the state level. You still brought, and those ones were, there were so many complaints in those ones too. And you still brought the same man back. It means he has come back to do a harsher job. So, and across the board, even in Rivers State, Magna Asabe, had the same complaints, and he's going to court. In Kwara, everywhere, virtually everywhere. And in places where people are not going to court, they simply moved to another political party. I mean, in Kano, the Shekarau has moved, from APC. It moved from PDP to APC, from APC now to NNPP.
In Oyo State,
Adelabu has moved to SDP.
But this says he hasn't named a new party.
But I read somewhere that he's going to go to SDP. Peter Obi, although he was not rigged out, he saw the danger, the handwriting on the wall, and he quickly picked race, which is going to benefit him, because there, in the Labour Party, he may have it, easy. And because of what happened to him, I fighting for, or fighting against injustice. They're fighting against injustice, inequity, uncivility, inhuman treatment.
Right.
And so if their own man, in fact, that's the reason why some people believe that he should have been zoned to the east, because an Eastern president, people cannot be working against him, because at that point in time, the man is the head of Nigeria and Nigerians, and so he would do it right. So if they want to be clever, they should have zoned it, to the Eastern. But the problem is personal. I mean, they want power. I mean, they are not patriotic. They're not altruistic. Putting individual consideration above national consideration.
This seems to be an endemic issue in political parties during every election cycle, where a handful of people, ostensibly the most powerful people or the most influential people in the party, will determine who emerges as candidates, not a democratic process where the best man actually wins. How do we change this trend in Nigerian politics?
Well, we can change the trend, we can change the narrative if you allow parties to be equally owned and equally possessed and equally financed. That was what happened in the past. When you had Action Group, you had UPN, although even under Action Group, if there were two contestants at that point in time, they will look at their trajectory and say, okay, and seniority, hierarchy, they will say, okay, this person came before you, so you wait for your turn, or you go and take a lesser thing. That two people were fighting for senatorial seat, they say, okay, you go for House of Reps. In fact, even it's done. It is done in UPN. So they say, okay, go for something lesser. But if parties are jointly, collectively financed, collectively owned, I think this will change. Because at that point in time, every member was financing the party, not this winner takes all, the warlords, people who have the war chest, the financial war chest. That was what Wiki did in 2018. He said, bring the convention here to Port Harcourt. If you don't, because it was a major financier of PDP after they lost power. So until you remove, if people pay to belong to parties, they finance it, then they will have equal say. But to the extent that you have rich men who are doling out this money, or they are governors who are doling out money, he went to Sokoto, 200 million. He went to Kaduna, 50 million, and so on and so on. And he has been donating money. So that's the problem.
All right. Let's leave politics for a bit now and check out other stories. I'll quickly run through two stories. Police arrest 11 suspected cultists for causing mayhem in Abeokuta. The war against cultism yielded positive results as operatives of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested 11 suspected members of Eye confraternity alleged to be responsible for the death of one Olaoshibikonte Joshua Atisa, the Abetu area of Abeokuta. The suspects were all apprehended at Itoku area of Abeokuta following credible information received by the anti-cultism unit of the command that the cultists implicated in the series of bloody court clashes within the metropolis were planning another onslaught at Itoku area. Well, this cultism menace in Abeokuta is becoming unbecoming.
Well, not only in Abeokuta alone, but it's prevalent here. There is a preponderance of it here. But in the Jebu area too, it happens. You see, our values have gone down. That is the major problem. Because why must people be aye or aye and be killing each other? It's reprisal attack. Even all this, the police may not have arrested everybody. And there are people who are saying he killed a woman, and at a time when you least expect it, they will strike. And the question is, all these days that they have been striking, you find out that of all the people that have been arrested now, in the final analysis, another one will come on top of it, and we will not hear what has happened to this one. Has anybody been punished? Is it proper to be an aye or to be an aye and to belong to courts, and be menacing the society? It's not. But because we don't punish bad behavior, there is no consequences for bad behavior. That's the reason why this thing fester. They know them. The best thing is just make examples. If you throw all these ones, after you must have verified their participation, their membership and all that, or they have taken part in oath taking and what have you, take them to court. There is against the law. You cannot even be a menace to the public disturbance. You put them under check, put them in a correctional center. It's so sad, so sad. Even it has permitted, I won't be surprised if it has gone down, cascaded to primary schools. Because you have them in secondary schools now. You have them among artisans now. Carpenters, mechanics, vulcanizers and what have you. What is attractive in being a cult member? I mean, what do you gain by it? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they gain ascendancy in terms of people know them and they are, I don't know. It's so sad that we are experiencing that here now.
But are the cultists stronger than the government?
That's the question. They are not supposed to. They are non-state actors, just like the kidnappers. They are non-state actors. I mean, but they run riots. In fact, I was shocked this morning when my prelate, Uche, had been kidnapped in Abia State. And this is the whole head of Methodist Church. How do you explain it? It means, in fact, I don't want to say we are already failed, but those are the.
According to the economists, we are.
No, yes, failure in the area of economy, but as a state, failed state. When non-state actors take over the functions of real actors. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. No, I know. No, I understand. No, in every aspect of economic indices, we have failed. Are you talking of, interest rate that has been jacked to 33%? Because with that, so many things will have been affected. The companies cannot get enough money, and it has affected forex. So workers may have to be downsized and what have you. So, but they are non-state actors lording it over, the state actors, and they are not supposed to be more because the state actors, the governments have instrument of coercion. They have guns, they have everything. They can even use this motto that they use, which and unfortunately, we are not using it. That was what Amosun did when he came in, because before he came in, the armed robbers were terrorizing banks in Abeokuta and Ijebu-Ode. He bought these armored tanks and, bought so many vehicles for the police, guns and all that. And he survived. They stopped it. So I think that is what we should do. They are non-state actors. They cannot be more important than the state actors. But go and check. One would have expected that they are children of rich people are not there. They are there. I mean, there was this report, I did when Arrow, I was in NTA then, turned 40. So Network News asked me to do that report. And I found out that amongst the children in Arrow, those who were brought, who were almost vegetables, there were children of professors there, children of priests, children of imams. And you begin to wonder, how did they get there? How did they get using drugs? And they were repatriated, from other countries, to Arrow. So that is the saddest part of it. Again, which throws it back to the families. Do we have enough time as parents, for our children? I don't know.
Let's get to the phone lines. 0704 400 1067 0817 444 1067. Be glad to take your contributions this morning. Any of the story we've touched on, you can react accordingly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Flash.
Good morning, Babari.
I am Babari.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Obanto. Yes, your colleague in the studio asked this question just now, that whether the courses, it doesn't matter about the courses in Ogun State or what the government is doing. He asked that whether the courses are powerful than the government. And you see, if you still remember, the Bado boys, they took over Lagos State. And there was a commissioner of police then in Lagos. They call him Edgar Aina. He took the battle to the boys. He identified their headquarters, the Korodu, and he flushed them out. Most of those boys now, they are harboring in Djibouti, Bota, all over Ogun State. So what is the police doing in Ogun State? What is their intelligence? So because these boys, you say you arrest, you do this, after about 2 or 3 weeks, they come out again and kill. So they said it's against themselves. But some innocent people are attacked sometimes. So why allow the courses this chance in the state? The same thing they did in Lagos, but Edgar Aina took the battle to them and drove them out of Lagos State. So I implored the Commissioner of Police Ogun State to do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Babari, for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My dear brother, Eddy Aina. I'm Wahid. I'm calling from Abeokuta. Yes, I want to appreciate your submission this morning. Let me start from the issue of primaries held by those political parties. I mean the two major political parties that we have in the country. If you remember, Mr. Eddy Aina very well, when 2019, when the issue of this primary happened, in APC in particular, and some people, let me put it that way, were abusing the former governor then, that why would he take the whole 40 electing position in the state? He is selfish, he is greedy, he is this, he is that. And I tell some of the people who care to listen then that some of these politicians we are talking about, they are almost the same thing. No governor, no incumbent governor will allow any other person who is not in his camp to take anything. And that is how they normally do it in their party. Now, what is the difference between what the former governor did or what people claim he did and what is happening right now? That is just it. So we should, when we are talking about policies, we should try to be considerate in apportioning blame to some political juggernauts about their activities and all that, forgetting that all of them are almost the same thing. That is that on the issue of party primary. On the issue of security, yes, I don't know what is really happening. I don't think criminals should be bigger or should be more powerful than the government or the agencies in charge of securing our lives and property and all that. I think there is something that we need to do in this state that we are not doing, especially on the part of government. In the last administration, whether you like the man or not, we must give it to him. Throughout the 8 years the man spent, we didn't have this kind of security lapses that we are having in the state right now. He manned the state as far as security is concerned, but we don't know what went wrong at this time. We need to talk to government to quickly do something before it outrightly gets out of hand. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate you. We have time to still take 1 or 2 more calls before we proceed to comment on social media if we have them.
0704 400 1067, 0817 444 1067, 0705 050 1067, and 0817 555 1067. Hello, what's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm a Shagun from Okelam to Abeokuta.
All right, Shagun, go ahead.
I want to thank Eddy Aina for his brilliant analysis. Quickly, I want to write. The former governor went to presidential launch in 2018 to announce the list of his preferred candidates. The difference between now and then was that there are primaries held everywhere this time around. So, just to put the record straight, this present governor did not sit down somewhere and write the list and read out those names. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That important clarification. Well, all right, let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Odunayo calling from Abeokuta.
Odunayo, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the issue of cultism in Ogun State and Abeokuta hashtag. Sir, you would agree with me that the people in government, these politicians, are the same people using these cultists against us, against the masses, against their rivals. Observe recently, sir, it's on note. I have done a very good report on cultism in Abeokuta and Ogun State generally. It is on note that in Ogun State, you see cultists now riding in very big cars, huge cars, having nothing to show for it. You see this particular politician, ask me, sir, let any Ogun State politician come out and say, okay, I'm a full-time politician, I don't have a cultist. Let them come and swear. They cannot. Are you talking of local government chairman? Are you talking of House of Reps members who just contested elections? You know what they did? Specifically, a particular recruiting officer during about 2 administrations ago, now came back after studying in the UK, came back to Nigeria. He's in Abeokuta now. He has recruited a lot of people. I'm saying it on authority. He has recruited people now contesting against the present administration, squaring them to any corner. Get his boys arrested. Within 2-3 days, they are out of police cell. Now they'll be looking for you. That's why I mentioned my name as Odunlami. I am not Odunlami. Good day.
All right. Well, you look like you do know a lot about these issues. But when we have information like this, it's right to let the authorities know, this information. Maybe even anonymously, but just find a way to get this information across to the authorities. But
on WhatsApp,
everybody
Olusegun from Abuli Oloni says, I don't agree with the notion that tagged PDP as a northern party. During PDP's 16 years rule, late President Yaradua only ruled for 2 years before his untimely death, while the southern president spent 14 years. Jaola Waliu says, Mr. Eddy, don't you think if APC nomination goes to a northerner again, it can cause disagreement between the northerner and the southerner? Moreover, the parents should have time with their children. They should talk to them as friends so that they will be free to each other. And the government likewise should make good policies in the country, especially the economic sector. And that's about it from WhatsApp and I believe Facebook and Twitter too. Thank you to everyone who called today. We appreciate it. Who sent a message on social media. We also appreciate it. Thank you for always joining us on Panorama and contributing. You make it a much richer discourse. Thank you, Sir Eddy Aina.
Thanks for having
your time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure as always.
Been with us since 8 a.m. We appreciate you very much. We pray that God will continue to strengthen you.
Amen.
Especially now that you're becoming older. Amen. Thank you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow. God's willing. It's World Tobacco Day tomorrow. So you want to join our conversation tomorrow. How does tobacco affect you? How does it affect your lung? How does it affect your body? We'll be having this conversation tomorrow. My name is Boyega Olaniyi.
I am Lola Meduteni. Good morning.
Don't dare touch that dial.